bees is Bradford Environmental Education Service. It's part of Bradford YMCA. Been running since 1985, doing a whole range of environmental education projects, working with communities, schools, individuals. So two of the key projects that we've run since the beginning is a conservation volunteer group. So people get together once a week and we manage different sites around Bradford and for other organisations as well, with a focus on sort of habitat management. But one of the key things about volunteers, learning skills, doing something social, quite a few retired people, so it's a way of keeping active, keeping social contact with people. So as well as the conservation group, there's also a field trip group, so people interested in natural history go out once a week, different sites, looking birds, flowers, fungi, lichen, a lot of shared learning. And one of the projects that sort of brought different things together is the community orchard that we're in at the moment, where we wanted to be growing local food, mainly apples, pears and plums, but we wanted to do that organically, and we wanted to create a good natural green space for people. So although we know that that's good for us in terms of our well-being, but also it's about creating the right ecosystems so that we've got organic cultivation at the orchard. Our ladybirds, lacewings, hoverflies are all essential to control the aphids. Spiders, eat some of the predators, things like that. So we have a wildflower meadow at the orchard so that we're attracting in pollinators. And
that's the other thing that you can
yeah, what else in the orchard? So we've got about 50 trees. Most of them are grown individually, but you can see where we're sitting at the moment. We've got these trained trees, so our espaliers, and cordons that are similar. So they're good examples of what you can do if you've just got a small backyard, especially the cordons, because you can have 4 in, within a metre or a metre of each other, so on a back wall, and then you've got your cross-pollination. We chose a range of varieties, including some old Yorkshire varieties that are quite hard to get hold of. Some are great, some are less so. But we've also got some of the very common, like Bramley, Discovery, things that you can find in the shops. At one point we thought, well, why did we plant those when you can buy them? Actually, they're very good apples, so we're quite pleased to have them in our mix. And it's something that we're all novices when we started the orchard. So something that we've been learning over the years is what sort of pest control we want to do, what pruning we want to do. And it's a great place because, we can try things, we can learn things without much jeopardy. So, it's been a nice space for shared learning as well as eating. So, and juicing and preserving. Like the orchard is managed partly by the bees conservation volunteer group that come, regularly on a Friday, but also we have a Friends of group that we meet. We sort of had a routine of the 3rd Saturday in the month, although we're reviewing that. So that's more like people are making their way independently here, and we're gathering because it gives more opportunity, but also we need more input into the orchard. We cover 9 allotment plots, so it's bees can't do all that work. And actually at the moment we're really keen to attract new volunteers to the orchard to help with the ongoing management, but also things like Apple Day, for instance. Like we're running our 23rd Apple Day, but we really need more people to make that a viable event into the future. But the first point of contact would be the bees team at Bradford YMCA, and then get introduced to the Friends of group and the more flexible arrangement to be here. For instance, when we're harvesting, we're here like 3 days a week, not for a full day, but we're here for 3 days a week roughly to harvest. So we only want to take the apples off the tree when they're ready. So we need to come regularly. We have a good store for the apples, and then we have to organise that, come back, check they're all. Some of our apples will last through to February, March, but we need to look after them to check they're not going off. And then we have days where we're juicing, we're making chutneys, things like that. So there's lots of things that we want people to be able to get involved with. So, bees is the place to find out about that.
and I do the conservation task groups on a Friday. And sometimes we work on other days, like if we're tree planting in winter, maybe we'll do a few extra days in a week because of the pressure of trying to get a lot of trees in a limited time. So we tend to do tasks that involve either creating or looking after habitats for wildlife and people, but primarily making them good places for wildlife, because wildlife's really up against it at the moment. Life's quite difficult and there's less and less space for it. And we also find that a lot of volunteers care quite passionately about animals as well, so, and habitats. So our jobs could be the creation and maintenance of places like orchards, like here with Apple Day that we've got today, woodlands, moorlands, cutting bracken on them, and creating ponds. That's a really nice thing to do. And then doing pond platforms, building them for dipping, and creating steps and seating areas. So there's a lot of different things involved in this kind of work, and it is really satisfying. And we work mainly in urban areas that are quite built up, but we do sometimes get out, like I said, to moorland and woodland places. But we would like to do more areas, almost like guerrilla gardening, where the small space is not being used, just to link up areas throughout Bradford. A bit like, I don't think you could fully create a wildlife corridor like you could on a canal or a river, but maybe where you've got different areas closer to each other, so that birds and other species have a chance to move along more easily in places. Yeah. So yeah, with volunteers, we could do with having a few more people. Since COVID, I don't think we're the only voluntary organisation, but there's a lot less than there used to be. So sometimes projects will take longer than we'd hope. So if anybody's interested in conservation and wildlife and improving the landscape for people, and get in touch. Just come along to Culture Fusion. You can get a lift in a minibus, or you can meet us at sites. And you're more than welcome. There's a really good mix of people.